Good evening. Welcome to the March 25th, 2025 meeting of the Pequannock Township Council. Ms. Marsh.
In accordance with the requirements of New Jersey's Open Public Meetings Act, notice of this meeting was included in the annual meeting notice, which was filed in the office of the Township Clerk, posted on the bulletin board in the municipal building, published as a legal notice in the Suburban Trends and Daily Record newspapers, and distributed to all persons requesting notice in accordance with Township policy.
Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance, followed by a prayer and a moment of thanks for an individual serving our nation. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Most gracious Providence, we ask that you bless this governing body with an abundance of wisdom and understanding so that every deliberation will result in actions which will promote the common good and the general welfare for all of the people of Pequannock Township. Amen.
Amen. Thank you. Clerk, please call the roll.
Mrs. Florence Lynch?
Here.
Mr. Cole?
Here.
Mrs. Russell?
Here.
Mr. Siracusa? Here. Mayor Dracy?
I am here. Presentations. There are no presentations scheduled for this evening. Next in the agenda is reports from volunteers. At this time, are there any reports or comments from any of the volunteers serving our community? No?
Open session.
All right.
Public comment. Next one.
Seeing none, public comment. The next item on the agenda is public comments. This comment period will be limited to a total of 30 minutes. Additional time is reserved later in the meeting. We welcome comments, suggestions, and questions rather than dialogue. If you have a specific question, please feel free to pose it and then follow up with staff via telephone or email. Comments are limited to 3 minutes. If anyone wishes to address the council, please wait to be recognized to come to the microphone and provide your name for the record. And there they are. Welcome.
My legal name's Amelia Chubahowski, nickname's Leah. I live in town.
Mine's easier. Ellen Brody Decker.
Welcome.
Bless you.
Bless you. And we're here with the American Cancer Society Relay for Life of Greater Montville Township, which, by the way, includes the two Bootons, Lincoln Park, Montville Township, and Pequannock Township. That's why we're here today. Who here has not been touched by cancer? I think everybody has in one form or another. And on June 7th is the relay at the Montville High School. And we're here today to ask you to do something about helping to eliminate cancer. And that would be starting a team from the council, which we've had, and we do have other townships that have done this, and form the team, donate, fundraise, and then come out and celebrate, remember, and fight back with us. Our theme this year is early detection, prevention, and cure. But we need your help. And we really want to, as somebody had mentioned, that we started Pequannock Township last year. Leah's done a fabulous job getting some of the town businesses involved. We want to do more. And we really feel that by your starting a team, and we can let people know that the township has done that. And I do have flyers for everybody on what Relay is about, if you don't know, along with how to start a team and join a team.
Sounds good. We'll start a team.
Yep. Yes!
Even if it's just me, we'll start it.
All right.
No, we will. Absolutely.
Beautiful.
It's a great cause.
It's a great event.
Thank you for bringing this.
What time does it start?
What's the date again?
June 7th.
And it's got all the details on
Not
there.
that's shred day, an election.
June 7th to Saturday from 5 to 10 p.m.
Oh, wow. This is all for that? Okay.
So you can, yeah, and if you're starting the team as the team captain.
Uh-oh. I don't know about that. Maybe. We'll see. No, I know.
Put your big mouth.
It's only $1,000.
You're in.
Yeah, do it. It'll take about 2 minutes, 3 minutes.
we should do it.
Just sign up, and I have directions there.
I see that.
Shoot you an email. Just to see. If you have any questions, I'm here to help.
Sounds
Thank
good.
you so much.
Thank you.
John, what time does it start?
Starts at 5.
5 p.m. 5 p.m.?
Yep. And if you're a survivor or caregiver, we will have a catered dinner at the relay that evening for them as well.
Okay.
So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else? Public comment? Yes, Mr. Nick.
Hey, Mr. Nick.
Hey, Nick Stefano, 28 Greenwood. Back again, basically about the tax reassessments. And one of my big concerns is we work so hard to make the elevations of the homes in the flood zone, one of our very successful projects, and it's brought in a lot of tax dollars, kept the ratables, and my concern is that they just keep raising the taxes by large amounts. And many of the houses in the flood zone have already had their taxes raised 40, 50%, some cases 62%. Now, I understand the way they kind of did it was, if you had a large percentage increase of what your property was worth. But, I think in this case where you have real estate prices that have been driven up so much, and you have like a small house on Pequannock Ave that has taxes of $7,000. You have another house on Pequannock Ave, $8,129. And then you have houses on the boulevard that much nicer, not in the flood zone, $7,000, $6,900. And I brought this up once before, and I still feel whatever ratio they're using on the homes in the flood zone is not accurate, because you have homes that are basically, let's say, $385,000. And in the flood zone, their taxes are considerably higher than a house not in the flood zone. And I brought this up before, and I don't understand why that's the case. Now, part of the reason why you buy a house in the flood zone is for it to be cheaper to live there. But now, if you're paying $8,000 for taxes, $6,000 for flood insurance, and another $2,000 for homeowners insurance, all this hard work that we did to make this happen, where now people are going to have to start selling these houses, because now, and every one of these houses that I documented here, none of them are elevations. So this is not even counting the elevations. And the fact that they're now going to come around again, forget about the fact that you successfully appeal it, you get it lowered, and then 5 months later, they just jack you right up. So one of the things I would like to see is if somebody has a successful appeal, or they negotiate the tax down, that there's some sort of freeze that, when they go reassess in October, they can't say, oh, okay, you're not only back to where you were, we're jacking you up another $400 on top of it, which is what happened to me. So, like I said, I'm going to bring this back up to him, because I still feel this is insanity, because you have several houses on the boulevard with beautiful yards, and they're paying less than a house that's under 1,000 square feet in the floodway. I mean, like I said, Adam, I sent all you guys emails about it, but it's getting worse. And if you even just go on Zillow, spend 10 minutes on Zillow. Just pull up each house, what the taxes was, how much it went up in the last 2 years, and you'll see almost everywhere, like nobody's, taxes went up that much, and like, I guess if you look at it this way, all right, if, let's say 2011, 2012, last time we were assessed, none of these other houses didn't go up way in value, or they were all, overtaxed. It does not make sense. Unfortunately, I've been so busy the last year and a half, I haven't been able to, but this is crazy. And, if you really just spend a little bit of time, my honest opinion, because I noticed the south end of town is worse than the village, but I don't know who did the south end section, but I still feel, they made a mistake, besides the fact that the ratio is much higher than, all the other areas in town. So I don't know what they did, but I really want you guys to look into it, because I don't want to see in the next year or so, all of a sudden, it's 9,000, it's 10,000, and it's all these people that are driving up these, these real estate prices. But, like I said, if you're going to just do it by assessed value or, whatever the Zillow value is, I would get it. But because people in the flood area have to have flood insurance if you don't own it outright, it makes no sense, and it really could backfire on us, where, it's worked out great. Listen, I worked so hard to get this off the ground 12 years ago. To see it all blow up because of possibly a mistake,
Yeah, I mean, you could see if it was the first time, but if it keeps happening, so they're right. Yeah, I mean, we'll talk and we'll look into it. I mean, if it's based on value, it should be based on value and not anything else. So.
Well, not even that. Listen, if a house is valued at $500,000, or this one's at $500,000, but if we have a flood event, those people have to leave their home.
Yeah.
Forget about the fact of what they're paying for flood insurance. This is where the rub is. Okay, I understand. Okay, people are paying $599,000 for a house on Madison Avenue, which is insanity.
But they're paying it, so that becomes the value, unfortunately.
Unfortunately, yeah.
I get that, but because of the added insurance that has to come into play, that's where it shouldn't just be based on value, because, I mean, it's costing you more to live there. If you bought that house, over here, it's going to cost you less to live here.
Yeah, I know you brought this up before. I know we had looked into it, but I believe we got an answer. So we'll do it again if we have to get it.
Yeah, because that's the whole thing. I understand the value because you have 3 houses that people paid that much for.
Yeah, but if they're getting it, they're getting it. And that's kind of, you raise them to increase the value, and then the taxes are going to go up.
Which
right, the value goes up, taxes go up.
When I first presented in front of council 12 years ago, I said that was going to be one of the benefits, for the town.
Careful what you wish for.
True.
Yeah.
True, but like I said, if I knew it would be, raising 50%, 62%, I mean, I just think, where does it end?
Well, we can get him in here to explain. So I would think so. We'll talk about that.
All right.
All right, thank you.
Thanks.
Anyone else for public comment? Come on up.
Jim Van Dyke, Commander of American Legion Post 242, Mayor, Council. Once again, this year, we're doing the Citizen of the Year, and we're requesting 2 council members. We had 2 council members last year. We met twice. We didn't really get a chance to meet as much as we would have liked to, but we would like another 2 members this year, just so the whole process is transparent and the town is involved. So that's my request, is 2 council members for the Citizen of the Year panel.
I'll volunteer.
I'd like to
volunteer too.
I'd do it too.
You guys can thumb wrestle.
Straws.
What do you think, John?
We'll pull it out again.
I mean, who was on it last year? I think 2 new
Brian.
people should be on it. I
Okay.
think
Yeah.
Dave and I should be on it.
I mean, that...
Well, but Vinny wants to do it too.
Oh, I didn't see his link. Oh, I didn't see.
Then scratch the thumb wrestling.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I don't know if we pull names out of a hat
Just
or
doesn't
if
matter to me.
John...
Syracuse and Melissa can do it.
Okay.
Oh, thank you. What a guy.
Thank you, Dave.
Okay?
Thank you.
Pleasure.
All right.
Thank you, Adam.
Thank you.
Carl.
See you soon.
Bob. Thanks.
Thank you.
Jim?
Thank you for coming.
Anyone else for public comment? Yes. You're behind the pillar.
Pillar, I like that.
Did you get that?
Mary Kay Schmerman. I just wanted to remind people that the First Reformed Church is putting on the second installment of The Price of Silence. The Forgotten Story of New Jersey's Enslaved People. It's a PBS, New Jersey PBS documentary about how slavery was happening here in New Jersey. It's the second installment. It's this Sunday, March 30th, between 2 and 4 p.m. at Friendship Hall. And it's a really important thing for all of us to know. So when I was watching it actually on PBS, it was like, wow, all the different things that have happened in New Jersey. So I think it's a worthwhile project. And just a reminder that the First Reformed Church has a food pantry. And I know they're in need, I'm sure, of many, many things. I don't know what the list would be, but it's certainly worthwhile to remember the food pantry. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Thank you. Anybody else for public comment? Seeing none, we shall move on to item number 8, which is the manager's report. Mr. Brewer.
Thank you, sir. Good evening, everyone. 3 quick items, all of which are scheduled for potential action by the council later this evening. The first is, as a component of the Route 23 sewer project, a private property owner, Virginia Plaza, constructed some sewer improvements prior to the project. The owner submitted several years ago a request for reimbursement for the work that was done that benefited the public project. Included in the council's packet is a resolution authorizing reimbursement of $7,827.50, which is supported by a certification from the township's water and sewer engineer. With the assistance of Mr. Ustek, we also secured a lease from the property owner should the council act favorably on that reimbursement. Next, also related to the Route 23 sewer project, we have a professional services agreement for the assessment. As previously discussed, the next phase of the Route 23 sewer project is the confirmation of the special assessments. So this is the report that establishes the value that ultimately will be acted on by the council when confirming the assessments. And last, there's an ordinance scheduled for potential introduction for the sale of 101 Chatfield Drive. This was an affordable unit that was previously foreclosed upon. Staff and contractors went in and did an amazing job of rehabilitating the unit, so it goes for the maximum possible to an appropriate and eligible party or parties. And based upon the fact that it's public property, the ordinance is the most prudent authorization for supporting the sale of that to someone, again, who is eligible for the applicable process. Unless there's any questions, that is my report this evening.
All right, thank you. Thank you. Any questions?
No, glad to see the unit stayed with fair housing.
Yeah.
Yes. All right, number 9 are no public hearings. This evening, ordinance for introduction. Ms. Marsh.
Ordinance number 2503 is an ordinance authorizing the sale of certain property owned by the Township of Pequannock, 101 Chatfield Drive, not required for public purposes pursuant to NJSA 40A:12-13 et sec.
Right, any more comments, Mr. Brewer?
Not unless there's any questions.
Okay, any comments from council?
Nope.
Is there a motion to introduce this ordinance on the first reading?
I'll make a motion to introduce ordinance number 2025-03.
I'll second.
Roll call.
Mrs. Lawrence Lynch?
Yes.
Mr. Cole?
Yes.
Mrs. Russell?
Yes.
Mr. Siracusa?
Yes.
Mayor Tracy?
Yes. Next on the agenda is the introduction of ordinance number 2025-04. Ms. Marsh.
2025-04 is an ordinance amending Chapter 152 of the Code of the Township of Pequannock and revising fees for certain parks and recreation activities and programs.
Any comments, Mr. Brewer?
We typically do this at the end of the year. However, these are new programs that were implemented and didn't really fit in any of the other buckets. The auditors are in the municipal building now conducting the 2024 municipal audit, so we figured it would be prudent to have the appropriate fees established and not get ourselves in hot water.
Okay. Any comments from council?
Nope.
No.
Is there a motion to introduce this ordinance on the first reading?
I'll make a motion to introduce ordinance 2025-04.
Second?
I'll second.
Roll call, please.
Mrs. Lawrence Lynch?
Yes.
Mr. Cole?
Yes.
Mrs. Russell?
Yes.
Mr. Siracusa?
Yes.
Mayor Tracy?
Yes. The next agenda item is resolutions. Ms. Marsh.
Beginning with Resolution R 2025-87, adopting temporary budget number 2 for 2025. 88, authorizing an interlocal agreement between the Township of Pequannock and the Board of Health of the Borough of Florham Park for public health services. 89, accepting a release from Virginia Industries LLC and authorizing the remittance of $7,827.50 for privately completed sewer work that benefited the Route 23 northbound and southbound sanitary sewer extension project. 2025-90, authorizing a professional services agreement between the Township of Pequannock and Associated Appraisal Group for the Route 23 northbound and southbound sanitary sewer extension. 2025-91, authorizing release of deposits for construction in the right-of-way. 92, authorizing tax office refunds, overpayments, or cancellations. And R 2025-93, approving payment of the itemized claims as set forth on the March 20th, 2025 bill list and the March 21st, 2018 FEMA elevation escrow list.
Ooh, good job. Any comments on the resolutions from council?
No.
Is there a motion to adopt these resolutions?
I'll make a motion to adopt resolutions R 2025-87 through R 2025-93.
Is there a second?
Second.
Roll call, please.
Mrs. Lawrence Lynch?
Yes.
Mr. Cole?
Yes.
Mrs. Russell?
Yes.
Mr. Siracusa?
Yes.
Mayor Tracy?
Yes. Agenda item number 12, there's no items listed for discussion. Number 13 is reports and notices. We have Pequannock Township Zoning Board of Adjustment Annual Report.
As a component of the municipal land use law, the zoning board of adjustment provided its annual report for the review of the governing body.
Any comments or questions from council?
No, thank you.
Thank you for that.
Thank you. Thank you to the zoning board for that. Next item is council reports and announcements. Councilwoman Florence Lynch.
Yes. A couple of things on committees. The Economic Development Committee will meet tomorrow night here at 7 o'clock. The Historic District Commission meeting, their next meeting is April 2nd, but it will be held at the Martin Berry House because of the work that began at the Railroad Museum, where they normally meet. The next Planning Board meeting is April 14th at 7. Our next Senior Citizen Advisory Committee is on Wednesday, April 16th at 10 a.m. There is a senior bus trip on April 1st going to the Hunterton Playhouse to see the musical Swing. There may be a couple of tickets left, so if anybody wants more information on that, they can see Parks and Rec. Couple other things. This Friday, there's another Fish and Chips event for the Bishop Nava Columbiettes. That will be held at St. Joseph's in Lincoln Park. And Pequannock Valley Rotary is holding a comedy show this Saturday at the American Legion in Lincoln Park. They'll also have a tricky tray and a 50-50. There's still a couple of tickets to that. If anybody wants more information, you can contact me or any Rotarian. It's also on Facebook. May 8th is, I'm going out there a little bit far, but May 8th is the Newbridge Gala. That's at the Legacy Castle. You can still get event tickets, do sponsorships or ads for that. And you can contact Jennifer Tanis or Debbie King on that. And then I just wanted to mention a couple of past events that we just went to this past week. PBA had a great beefsteak at the castle, and that was wonderful. I'm glad I got to attend that. The Women's Auxiliary had a pocketbook bingo. That was for Fire Company 2 Women's Auxiliary. They raised money for the Fire Company 2. That was this past Saturday. That was a nice event as well, although I didn't win anything, but it was still a nice event. And I also participated at the Grains of Hope food packing event that was held this past weekend, and I always enjoy doing that. Other than that, that's my report.
Thank you, Melissa.
Oh, I forgot to mention the river cleanup, but you can do that.
River cleanup. Thank you. Councilman Cole.
All right, I'd just like to thank all of the football players and the students that I was able to recruit for Saturday before the Grains of Hope. They actually set up all the tables and moved a bunch of the material that they packed on Sunday, so just want to give them a shout out. A bunch of football players were there. I was not able to attend. I had hernia surgery on the 14th, so I stayed away from that.
Good to see you back.
Yeah. The Fire Department Company 2 is having their 13th annual fish and chip dinner. It's dine-in or takeout on Friday, April 11th from 4:30 to 7:30. I have tickets if anyone is interested, $24 a ticket. And as Councilwoman Florence Lynch said, the PBA fundraiser this past weekend was very well attended. I think there was 520 people there for their first beefsteak, so congratulations to the entire police department for running a great event. And that's all I got. Thank you very much, Mayor.
Thank you, Dave. Councilwoman Russell.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
First aid squad, I don't have my numbers with me, but they are down to one ambulance again. They had just got their other one back, and then now it's down. It should be back. The new one isn't coming until September, so hopefully they go by, but I know we had discussed it. We got to think about helping them out a little bit. The environmental committee met. They do a lot of good stuff, and you should come to that meeting. It's very good. They're going to work the river cleanup Saturday the 12th. They're going to do a mini bio blitz on April 26th. May 3rd is going to be their rain barrel workshop, where we get the barrels from the soda companies. They fill it out and they show everybody how to make a rain barrel. It usually sells out right in advance online, so that's a very cool thing. That's going to be our next meeting for that is April 9th. Don't forget this Saturday, there's a clothing drive at the high school, which I thought was last Saturday, so my stuff went to the fire department instead, and I'm going to have to get more stuff for the high school because it was in my car. Library Fest, April 5th. Come out. They're going to have a bunch of vendors. It's going to be a great day, hoping for good weather.
When is that?
April 5th. Yeah, that's going to be outside. Opening day, Little League is April 26th. And Preservation Trust, we have one more meeting with the county, and they're going to finalize the ballot initiative that's going to go on in November, using the county open space funds for stewardship. It's not for building anything new. It won't be allowed to do turf fields or lights or anything. It's basically a new initiative for people to apply for stewardship on their open space. So dredging, cleanup, invasive species, bad trees, anything like that. And Shred Day is May 5th. A lot of people have been asking about that. They just set up a Shred Day.
Thank you.
So everybody come out for that. And thank you very much. That is my report.
What was the 5th? You said something.
May 5th, Shred Day.
No, April 5th, you had something?
Oh, the library thing.
April 5th is Library Fest.
Okay.
And they're going to have it outside, and they're going to have all vendors, and it's going to be fun.
Thank you, Kyle. Councilman Sarakusa.
So my two committees did not meet since our last meeting. However, two things is that Parks and Rec is definitely still hiring for lifeguards. And September 17th, just to reiterate, is the Senior Olympics. All right, so drink water, get your physicals, do your calisthenics, and sign up. That's all I have.
Thank you, Vin. All right, I'm up. Shade Tree Committee met for the first time in a little while. There was some concerns, I guess, about people clear-cutting lots and cutting a lot of trees down. Spoke to Mr. Brewer about this, and he says the township, there was some miscommunication, but the township basically took care of it. Fines were issued on one project, correct? So it's...
There are two examples where there's clear-cutted lots that were reported, and one resulted in immediate enforcement action. The second, there was a little bit of miscommunication, but ultimately enforcement action and either remediation or fines will be paid. So they're both being addressed in process with the following.
Okay, so just so everybody knows, there is an ordinance in town about how many trees you can cut down on your property. It's not to be invasive of your property, but it's just trying to keep everything correct. I think it's 5 trees in a certain year period. And also there are, in order to cut down trees in town here, you really have to register with the town. And the reason we do that is to make sure that people have insurance, especially workers' comp insurance. There's a lot of big equipment, there's a lot of saws. It's really for the public's protection that we do this. So just if you want to hire somebody to take trees down, please make sure they're registered with the town and they have proper insurance. You know, same with a contractor, same with anybody you have come on your property. It's very important. River cleanup. Yes, we are going to get out there in a couple weeks. Looking forward to that. Again, go walk around in the mud, pick up stuff. So, whoever comes back with the most bags wins. Right, Carol? Yep. All right. PBA dinner was great. Food came out a little late. It was almost past my bedtime, but it was it was good. I liked it. There was a lot of people there. So congrats to the PBA for that. Food pantry. I agree with Mrs. Schmerman that it's very important, and we should all kind of focus on that. Sometimes we lose track because we're in Pequannock. We think people don't need it, but people need it. So if you have the means, please help out. Please help out. Oh, jeez, I can't read my notes. What else do I got here? Grains of Hope event was great. I know the high school boys brought all the boxes in, but I had to move pretty much half of them myself, so I was beat at the end of Sunday. So we need to round up some more people to fill the bins and keep the groups going, but we got it done. Nice, we got somebody, Florham Park signed on to the health services. I like that. It's sharing services, so that's good. And I just, I think that's about it. Just like to thank the police for what they do in town, thank the fire departments for what they do, and the first aid squad. Those two, fire department and first aid squad, they are volunteers. They go through a lot of training, so thank you. We definitely appreciate what you do for us. And that's it, I think. So item number 15, next on the agenda is public comment. As a reminder, we welcome comments, suggestions, questions rather than dialogue, and comments are limited to 3 minutes. Please, if anyone wishes to address the council, please wait to be recognized and come to the microphone and provide your name for the record. Sure. Come on up.
Karen Randolph. Just to go off of Kyle with the Environmental Commission, which I'm a member of. I was just reading an ANJAC report that they are going to be, it looks like they're going to pass Senate Bill 1029 and Assembly Bill 4137 for Invasive Species Management Act. And we have a lot of places in our town where the invasive species are just going crazy. So just to bring your attention to it, that this might be coming down the pike and there might be some resources to handle some invasive species. I know we have the tree of heaven going crazy, bamboo, the pear trees that are invasive are all over the place, not to mention the mugwort everywhere. So I just wanted to bring that to your attention.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Thank you.
Thank you. And thank you for being on the commission. Thank you for your service there. Anybody else? Yes, come on up.
Good evening, Megan Dempsey. Fun note first, if you are going to the New Bridge Gala, my daughter is singing with the group vocal from Shamrock that's going to be performing during cocktail hour. So it was a light crowd in the room where they were singing for cocktail hour last year because all the food was in a different room. So if you are there, I encourage you to get a big plate and then come on in because they're really a treat to listen to. I apologize I was late for the budget meeting. I wish I had gotten to hear some more of that, but I kind of got a sense of the tenor and what was being discussed. And Mary Kay kindly filled me in on some of the things that I missed, and I just had some comments about that it's been taking me a little while to put my thoughts together around. So, definitely nobody wants to see their taxes go up. This is the life of a New Jersey person, right? My taxes are too high. Having lived in many other parts of the state, we are in a very good position here in Morris County compared. We moved from Essex County. I've lived in Middlesex County, and there's a reason we bought in Morris County and not in Wayne. So I think that's something that is easy to lose perspective of when you've grown up in this town or in this area. But if you look around, still in a pretty good situation. The issues that Nick was raising are definitely concerning, and so I know this is a big struggle for people. And yes, we do have a food pantry in town because we have people who are struggling with food costs. Right now, I think everyone is struggling with the costs of everything. And to be presented with a budget that sounds like it was prepared fairly responsibly and historically has been prepared responsibly, and say we need to get that down at this point in time and in the current economy feels like going to a family and saying you need to cut your grocery bill by $100 and let anyone try to figure out how they're doing that right now with the way things are what things are costing. People are struggling across the board, and as much as taxes will always be a concern, I think if you ask people right now, they're worried about what's happening to their Social Security money, what is going to happen to Medicare, Medicaid, what is happening with their student loans that they still owe money on, or maybe we're hoping to get relief on, what's going to happen when their kids have to go to college in a few years and student loans are privatized and gouging students out of their money and parents out of their money, what's happening to their veteran benefits, what's happening to our environment. There are a lot of concerns on people's minds besides 0.5% on their taxes, in addition to 0.5% on their taxes. And I just wanted to say that with all of this going on, I think governing officials at all levels, from local all the way up to Congress, need to be standing up to what is happening in Washington, D.C. right now, and taking a stand against reckless cuts to vital services. And this is where I had to compose my thoughts, and I still have not done a good job of doing so. But I mean, anyone who put this person in office to destroy our economy, destroy our government, price of eggs still hasn't gone down, still waiting for that promise to come through, are responsible. And you need to now stand up to it. And it's okay to admit that you made a mistake and to start fighting back against it, because our economy is at stake, our livelihoods are at stake, our children's future are at stake, and our democracy is at stake right now. So, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Any other public comment? Sure, come on up.
Good evening, Council. Sharon Taylor. How are you doing?
Good, how are you?
Good.
Welcome.
Thank you. Just two quick areas that I just had a question on, PV Park water and then Greenview Park water. Just seeing how we're doing with the water content, if it's being tested, if we're prepared to open up PV Park, how is it looking? And I know there's been a lot of great work done at Greenview Park. It looks absolutely fabulous. And I'm glad that we put a lot of money into that park for the community. So I was just wondering to see what the status is for that. Because usually there's like a short discussion before PV Park, permits come out, and you guys talk a little bit about that. And that's all I have. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Any other public comment? Yes, you're coming back? All right.
Mary Kay Schmerman. I'd like to build on what Megan Dempsey said. I totally agree with what she said at the end. So I'd like to remind people that April 5th, the country has many, many protests going on, starting now. But April 5th in Washington, D.C., there's a march going on called Hands Off Action. And, but they're protests with this Hands Off action throughout the country. In fact, there's one being organized right now in Montclair. There's one being organized right now in Glen Ridge. And every day there are new protests organized in different parts of the country, different parts of New Jersey. So I just wanted to alert people that there are ways to protest, and people are mobilizing to make our views known about what's happening in the government right now. Also, in Montclair on Sunday afternoons from 3 to 4 p.m., if you want to protest what's going on in Washington, D.C., you can go to the corner of Bloomfield Avenue and Church Street. I don't know if you know Montclair, but it's a pretty well-known area. And I was there last Sunday. Lots of people out, lots of signs, and one of the important signs that was said was, "Silence is not an option." And so we're standing on Church Street and Bloomfield Avenue, and lots of cars honking and everything, which is really vital to what's going on. So I also wanted to put a shout out to Senator Andy Kim. I saw his town hall that he gave in Brick Township, and he's a wonderful representative, a wonderful senator for our state of New Jersey. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. Any other public comment? Seeing none, we'll close that portion of the meeting. Mr. Brewer, can you just speak to PV Park testing and maybe the Greenview Courts, when we're going to be wrapped up, or when you think we're going to be, fence up, all that kind of good stuff?
Thank you, sir. Happy to. PV Park going well. Everything's on schedule. New aerators were installed a couple years ago, which have done wonders for water quality. So hopefully we'll continue with that success there, but everything's on schedule. With respect to Greenview Park, we need it to be 50 degrees or warmer at night to apply the surface. And although we've had some beautiful afternoons, it's still like 38 in the morning, so the surface won't adhere to that. So once we hit the temperatures where it can be done, it will be done. And we look forward to continued improvements in those parks and additional areas which were funded through the 2025 municipal budget.
And is it true that after the surface is installed, it needs to cure for 30 days? So how soon?
I don't know if it's 30. I can check and get back to you.
So, yeah, how soon we can get on it after it's done. Yeah.
We'll need an army of people to keep them from playing basketball.
I gotta tell you, the kids are loving it already.
Yeah, they are. Yeah. I've been by it a couple times, and there's always somebody out
all the time. So.
And then also, I apologize, I didn't do this before, but just next with the property taxes, can we just get somebody in here to speak on this? I know we've done it already, but if it comes up, any thoughts, comments?
Well, the basic comment I think he was making is he'd like to see a different standard applied in flood areas, and that's just not legal. That's never going to be able to happen. So, but the concern of affordability is one that's, discussed frequently in the state, and housing prices have gone up with housing prices go assessments, and certain neighborhoods are hit harder because that's where the market has really drawn.
Jumped,
And the flood area has been, the assessors explained to us in the flood areas, that's happened probably because it was so low after the last flood. But values have really tanked, and it hasn't flooded in a while, so people forget, and values go up again. And that, it's hard because the assessor is obligated to look at sales. If the sales are coming in at a certain amount, the sales are coming in at a certain amount.
And I think it's hard, too, to justify, if you have a house in the flood zone down in the village, which is just such a beautiful area, right? So, and then you have a house on the boulevard. Well, the guy on the boulevard is going to say, well, I got tractor trailers coming down, and I live on a busy street, and you live on a dead end, so it's...
Bottom line is they work hard to watch values in different neighborhoods, and values in different neighborhoods adjust in different ways. And I understand the problem, but I don't think, he's brought the problem to the County Board of Taxation, and he's really told the same thing. It's not about taxes, it's about value and assessment. and that's hard. That's hard for people to understand, because one equates to the other, but that's where we end up. So, I think what we need, Nick, is this is within the jurisdiction of the tax assessor. If there's concerns or questions, we have a tax assessor who's very willing to sit down and talk to.
Can we bring
He really
him in?
goes out of his way to try to answer questions.
That's what I'm wondering. Is it worth it to bring the tax assessor in?
In here?
Questions, or no?
I think...
Is that not appropriate?
Respectfully, I just think those who have an issue should meet with the tax assessor. Not that I advocate for legal action against the Township of Pequannock, but one of the benefits of the process is anyone who's dissatisfied with the answer regarding their assessment has the right to appeal.
Yeah.
And you don't need an attorney. I've done it successfully myself. So there is an opportunity to say, I don't think this is right, and this is my evidence, and you can bring it pro se to the board, who does look favorably upon people that do a pro se. They give them pretty wide latitude. So it's not a be-all, end-all. If there's a perspective of disagreement, there's a venue to take that disagreement.
But there's no reason to bring somebody in to talk about the process and how it was done, because there's nothing really...
A lot of people aren't happy with it.
Yeah.
Right.
That's a different.
I
That's
haven't
actually
heard of a lot of people being unhappy with it, but anyone I would direct
Annual
to contact the
reassessment.
assessor.
Yeah, maybe we could do that, just so
Yeah,
people...
the issue of the annual reassessment is a policy issue that gets made up here. So if that's the discussion.
Yeah, that would be more the discussion, I think, right?
Yeah, I agree.
If the timing isn't exactly right now, but
Right.
it will be.
In the future, and I know we've talked about it before.
It might be good just to
we wanted to
educate
have-
for a refresh and to educate people on how it's done.
Years do we have left? Three.
All right, so maybe we can set that up. So Nick, I apologize for not
we set
bringing
that
this
up
up
for a
before.
future?
Hopefully you watched the video.
Got 3 years left of the time.
But I know you will be back, so we'll get you the answer, but hopefully you watched the video. Moving on, next on the agenda is minutes for approval.
Yes.
We're looking at February 11th, February 25th, March 11th regular meeting, and the February 25th budget workshop.
Yep.
Mr. Russell needs to abstain from the February 11th minutes. So any comments on the minutes?
Nope.
No.
I'll make a motion to approve the February 11th, February 25th special meeting, February 25th regular meeting, and the March 11th regular meeting.
And I'll second them.
Okay. All in favor, except...
I would abstain on 211.
Aye.
All right. Any
Aye.
opposed? Done. There are no items for closed session this evening. So item number 18, there be no further business. Is there a motion to adjourn?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Meeting adjourned at 7:46.